Hey, you guys, on today's show, the liberal white women and beta male teachers are running wild out there, and we're going to discuss what they're making their students do. And then this week in LGB GFY news, there was another transgender shooter. Did you hear about it? Oh, yeah, because, can't talk about that, and you'll never guess where it was. So we're going to discuss that. And then we've got a little bit of Representative Ratchet, AOC, with a dash of Dora, aka Lena Hidalgo. So stick around for all that today on The Angela Box Show.
Hello, my name is Angela Box. So you're talking my name.
Okay, y'all, as the never-ending sky screaming and hyperventilation and nonsense that the left pulls day after day after day continues to go on ad infinitum, seemingly world without end, okay? As this continues on, people are starting to ask some serious questions. I mean, normal people can't be bothered to do any of this crap. That goes without saying. But people are starting to ask some questions because these ratchet ass liberal white women these liberal white women teachers who could not get laid to save their lives.
Fascist pig bigots, boys and girls. That is what they are. Oink, oink. Why do you think he made them pigs? Fascist. Let me propose something to you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think perhaps Orwell was the first advocate of ACAB? Ladies and gentlemen, we all know a fascist. We all know a bigot. We all know a misogynist. There are plenty sitting in this room right now. Is there anyone in here who can provide insight on the mind of bigots? Troy, your father's a Republican. Can you provide some insight for us? Oink, oink, boys and girls. Oink, oink.
Who are all, to a person, like fat, disgusting, and covered in tattoos, and have blue hair.
Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Okay, in that case, bread doesn't make sandwiches, people make sandwiches. Cars don't drive people to work, people drive people to work.
Those lovely ladies, who will perpetually be single, and the beta male teachers, the ones with like the scraggly ponytails.
Welcome to the Beta Yourself podcast, where we invite some of the most non-dominant men to come on and talk about how they are betaing themselves on a daily basis, if they feel comfortable with that. It's honestly one of the least imposing betas around at the moment. You're submitting so hard to life at the moment. It's an absolute inspiration. I don't know about that. Bro, I don't even know if there's like a question that I could even ask you, but like, is there anything that like maybe you want to talk about on here? I don't know, man. Like, I just kind of want to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Just clinging on to those last scraps of hair. The ones who might have like an earring or like a real sparse like goatee. The ones whose shoulders kind of slump a little bit because they have no testosterone and they've eaten soy their entire lives. The ones who are like wearing like Vans, but like the dirtiest, nastiest Vans you've ever seen, or Converse, take your pick, with like, a Black Lives Matter shirt at all times. If not shirts, then certainly there are pins on his lapels, the Palestine flag and the pride flag and the transgender flag and the Somos Americanos flag and the no good pin, and take your pick. Like he's like, the beta male teachers are kind of like Jennifer Aniston's character in Office Space.
Joanna.
Yeah.
We need to talk. Do you know what this is about?
My, flair?
Yeah. Or, your lack of flair, because, I'm counting and I only see 15 pieces.
She wasn't wearing enough flair. Well, this guy was like holding my beer. Anyway, these teachers are doing the most as usual. And every other day, it's like, how can we indoctrinate these kids that cannot read on grade level, cannot seemingly perform math on any level other than like a third grade? If we're lucky, maybe they'll know how to carry and borrow. Although we can't say carrying and borrowing anymore because, that's white white supremacist adjacent, I guess. So let's talk about regrouping and completely screw up your kid's head when caring and borrowing work just fine. But anyway, I digress. Don't get me started. These kids who are not on grade level on anything, not even close, and have the behavior of zoo animals, essentially. And the teachers allow it because, you know, as liberal white women teachers and beta male teachers, they're going to be like, oh, well, we can't tell black kids to stop acting like this because that would be white supremacy. Not even adjacent, like full on white supremacy. We have to just be like, well, of course you act like zoo animals. I mean, why should we expect any different? It's actually very racist to expect children, regardless of race or ethnicity or skin color, to behave like civilized human beings. I mean, that in and of itself is a vestige of colonialism, of course. Now, guys, you think I'm lying. This is exactly how teachers behave and believe. Trust me, I know. I worked in the public school system, okay? And it has gotten so much worse since I left. And these teachers who are all communists, by and large, the ones doing this, of course, and, you know, normal teachers get run out on a rail. Normal teachers, conservative teachers, I would say probably make up 30 to 40% of the teachers, but they dare not speak. You know why? Because their coworkers are insane people and they'll out them and they'll make their lives a living hell. Believe me, this happened to me. Anyway, let me continue. These liberal white women teachers and the beta male teachers who have no problem with horrific behavior and the fact that their kids can't read or do math, because I mean, why would they expect them to do reading and do math? I mean, again, expecting a child to be on grade level, that is a vestige of white supremacist colonialism. You bigots. So this is what we're dealing with here. So they have these capital audiences. These psycho leftist teachers are not just Democrats, they are full-blown Marxists. They are out and proud about it. They put all manner of propaganda up in their classrooms all the time, okay? Like, I guarantee you walk into a liberal white woman or a beta male teacher's classroom right now, they have little corners for each cause du jour. They have like a Palestinian corner where the kids can talk about how much they hate the Jews. They have a corner with a LGBTFY flag in the center with the trans flag around it, where the kids can talk about, you know, how we need to go out and kill some white people for repressing us from transitioning at the age of 12. They have a corner for the immigrants and the illegal aliens. Of course, the no human is illegal nonsense, and ICE is Nazi nonsense. And that is what we're going to be dealing. This is the corner of crazy we're going to be talking about right now. So there was a big setup for something that is actually quite pretty simple, is that these teachers are out of control. Now, they have been forcing kids to leave class and go protest ICE. And basically, there is a girl who is running for Congress in the Dallas area. Her name is Peyton Jackson. She's a black lady running as a Republican because she's smart. And she basically was like, what are these kids doing? Now, she started off by saying these black kids, and let's keep it 100. Like, hashtag why is it always, okay? Like, as you can see from the video, it is a bunch of black kids acting like zoo animals, and their teachers thinking it's great. Roll that clip.
These kids, black kids, but yeah, all kids, these kids are walking out of school to protest ICE. The kids can't even read on grade level. They're walking out of school to protest ICE. Now, back in my day, things like truancy existed. Let's bring that back for the school districts that don't have it. Actually, I advocate against truancy, but you can't even read on grade level, but you want to protest ICE. See, back in my day, I was told to stay in a child's place. Get back into the classroom before you turn yourself into a future prisoner, because that's how they use the test scores. If you aren't passing on grade level, that's how they use the test scores to determine how many prisons we need. And Dallas County is looking for another one priced at $5 billion. So before you commit to a jail cell, go figure out how to read. Don't worry about an ICE protest. Jeez.
They're encouraging this. They basically said, hey, take all that hood rat shit you do in my classroom and that I absolutely excuse and allow, and just go outside and do it and like take it out on ice. And you've seen the video of some rabid seriously, this is some Lord of the Flies shit, okay? Some rabid Lord of the Flies kids with blue hair and fat and whatever, attacking either a teacher or someone wearing a MAGA hat, an adult. This is not going to end well. But this is what's so disgusting, is this is what these teachers are doing, you guys. And it's not obvious to anyone, it should be. They're telling their kids to go do these things because these kids won't get arrested as adults, okay? At the very least, these kids will get arrested, slap, misdemeanor, slap on the wrist, and then they'll go out to protest another day. Now, these leftist teachers they can't attack ICE and they can't F with ICE without being arrested and thrown into federal pound me in the ass prison, okay? Which is what is going to be happening to these people, unless they want to, pull a gun or a knife on ICE, and then they're going to get adios amigoed, okay? Anyway, here's my point. The teachers are using the kids. Period. The end. Take a look at this video of a bunch of anti-ICE students who attack police in downtown Los Angeles as the teachers step back and go, good job. Roll that clip. They're out of control, but thankfully more and more parents are finally starting to pull their heads out of their asses and realize, oh, wait a minute, we thought we stopped these lunatic teachers in 2021 and 2022 after everyone realized what kind of gay pornography was in the libraries and how they were pushing their psychotic masking and vaccines and all the crap that they were doing, and parents had to rise up and put a stop to it. We thought that they learned their lesson, ladies and gentlemen, and transgenders. They don't learn any lessons, all right? This is a constant game of whack-a-mole. These people are cockroaches. They will continue to rise. And that is why, as conservatives and as MAGA types, normal human beings, we have to continue to stomp them out like the cockroaches they are. Take your boot and stomp them, smash them with your heel 24/7. That's what we got to do. So parents are starting to fight back. And I'm going to roll you some clips of some parents telling these teachers they effed around and they found out. So enjoy this couple of minutes of sanity here.
It used to be political, now it's personal. Our children are involved. I am sick and tired of watching politicians and school boards, people from the city, telling children they can go out and fucking excuse my language, go out and get in the face of law enforcement. Good evening, my name is Vance Galavi, and on the afternoon of February 2nd, 2026, my 14-year-old child called me. He was not at school, he was not sick, he was in the middle of White Center, Washington, in the middle of a protest that was organized for his middle school. Okay, my stomach dropped when he called me. You guys have noticed that on January 30th, 2026, 2 children were killed just blocks from the school on Rainier that was having a very walkout that day. RCW 28A-600-035, by allowing them to leave, and under Initiative 2081, the Parental Bill of Rights, I have the right to know where my child goes. That was taken from me. I was not given notice. I was not given an email. I was not given a call. You exposed him to real danger. That's neglect and that's endangerment. RCW 98-42035, criminal negligence by not being aware of the substantial risk. You call it policy, I call it abandonment. I am filing a lawsuit before the Paul Johnson. I want to make something perfectly clear. Someone's going to be held accountable, but all of you will remember it. Because for some reason we lose our case, we'll make a case law out of this to protect parents' rights to know where our kids are at all times. It's ridiculous. It's criminal negligence. And yes, a principal was fired for coercing students participate in protesting. Just so you know. I had an hour worth of yelling to do, but today I'm going to narrow it down to 2 minutes because you didn't give me enough time. But I will be here at every school board meeting to continue what I had to say today. I am not finished, and I yield my time.
Okay, and then here's a little couple of good news, some good news at the end of this true Lord of the Flies nonsense. There is a restaurant owner in, I believe, Arizona, and he is a legal immigrant from El Salvador. I'm sure he is very thrilled with how Bukele has transformed that country. I mean, truly remarkable. But he's here now. He came here legally, and he owns a Mexican restaurant. And so he said he was going to give free food to all ICE agents. Well, the unwashed psychopaths were not having this. They were not happy about this, but the guy was like, ask me if I care. Ask me if I care. So good for him. And then finally, some more good news. There is a record number of illegal aliens who are self-deporting under Trump. Record number. You know why? Because they got the CBP app. They're bribing them to leave, and they're basically saying, if you self-deport, you will get a chance to come back. If we have to catch you and deport you, it is game over for you forever. So more and more immigrants, illegal aliens, are taking advantage of that. The ones who aren't criminals, presumably. I mean, you know, extra criminals. More criminality on top of the illegal alien shit. They're taking advantage of that, and they are deporting their families back to from whence they came. And the Democrats hate this because the more population they lose, the more congressional seats they lose, which is what this entire charade is about. So, listen, teachers, liberal white women and beta male teachers, you are the bane of my existence. I'm envisioning you in my head. You know, the beta male teacher in my head is, remember the Beavis and Butthead teacher? That guy.
Everyone try to be nice because we have a new student joining us today. And I know you will all make him feel welcome. Say hello to Bahir Hassan Abdul Hakim.
Uh-oh! Dude, not cool! No.
Eric, what the hell is wrong with you?
What's wrong? Has he been checked for bombs?
That is the beta male teacher. That is my vision. And liberal white women teacher, I mean, take your pick. There are so many. Throw a dart. You won't miss one because they're all big uns. 99% of them are big backs. All right, so throw a dart. You'll hit one of them. I'll be back in just a minute. Hi, you guys. I would like to tell you all about my friend and photographer and author of How to Keep God First in a Social Media World, which you can find on Amazon, and all-around great human, Alan Bates. And Alan is your healthcare solution guy. Go to yourhealthbenefitsolution.com. If you're freaking out about your premiums, which why wouldn't you? Because of Obamacare is collapsing, and it was always meant to collapse. But he can help you find the best prices for your family. And open enrollment is going on right now. So just get in touch with Alan at yourhealthbenefitsolution.com or give him a call at 713-824-4636. That's 713-824-4636. His name is Alan Bates. He's an amazing guy. Give him a call and let him help you out with the nightmare of open enrollment. And tell him I sent you. Do it today. Okay, you guys. This week in Alphabet People News, LGBTQI news, there was a really awful shooting in Canada, and there was like basically a media blackout when this happened. So what happened? It was a place in Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia. Which I'm sorry, Canada, for whatever reason, I have a complete mental block about how that country is laid out, what their provinces are. I understand that the provinces are like states, but then I don't understand like I don't get it. I'm dumb, okay? Admittedly. There's only enough room for a certain amount of minutia in my head, and for whatever reason, understanding how Canada is laid out is not the minutia that made it to the final round. Okay, so in British Columbia, there was a shooting in Tumbler Ridge. This is from Andy No. I basically went on Andy No's X account and just started like pulling stuff like all as much as I could pull, because like he's a preeminent authority on this stuff. Like any transgender shooter, I would say the other word that I like to say, but I get struck when I say the TRANY word. YouTube does not like that. So Andy knows a great account to follow. Anything trans nonsense related, he's on it. And he basically was like, this shooting completely went away once police finally confirmed it was a transgender shooter. He confirmed that the BC school mass is trans. He is an 18-year-old. He's 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootsalar. Prior independent reporting reported he had his mother's surname Slang, but that was inaccurate. He has an interesting last name, Rootseller, basically. Police say the gunman began transitioning about 6 years ago when he was about 12, and he had a psychotic mother that allowed this to happen. And what's crazy is that the mother used to be conservative. And then because her son, who had been brainwashed in Canadian leftist schools, no doubt, came home one day, he's like, "Hey mom, I think I'm a girl. Like, I'm gonna want to start transitioning." And because Canada is nuts and Canada pays for puberty blockers and allows kids to mutilate their genitals, like he started transitioning when he was 12. Horrible. Anyway, he dropped out of school when he was about 14. Police confirmed that all of the deceased child victims are between 11 and 13. He killed a bunch of 11 to 13 year olds, a bunch of middle school kids. Okay? Because the insane ideology that he had been fed is telling him that he needs to do these things. Okay? Let me continue. He killed 9 people, including his mother, the wonderful woman that allowed him to transition, who affirmed his transgender identity, and his 11-year-old brother. So, screenshot of the school in Tumbler Ridge, where the second part of the shooting occurred. Take a look at that flag that's in one of their building's windows here. And you'll wonder why the media stopped talking about it. I mean, obviously, the media would stop talking about it. But then when you look at the school and how nuts the school was and how it's been pushing this nonsense and, I'm sure has their little corner with the pride flag and the transgender flag in every single classroom, like a place that kids can go and be affirmed and be seen, like whatever. It's all over the school. So the kid goes, I don't know if it was his school, former school, or what, but went to a school that was basically all about what he had done to himself. Okay, I'll continue. And this, as Andy No points out, is the type of social media content that is very popular with trans people online. Now, the reason we are seeing this uptick in transgender violence, in transgender mass shootings, in transgender whatever, is because this insanity has been affirmed, has been pushed, these people have been groomed in online chat rooms like Discord and Roblox and what's the other secret? All the secret ones. They're all talking about this crap. Tyler Robinson was a member of these groups. Okay, Tyler Robinson had contact with armed queers of Salt Lake City and the Democrat Socialists of America. These people are incredibly violent and they're being groomed this way. So here's this cartoon, and it said, this one says, "Don't. Being trans sucks. I should kill myself." And then the "do. Being trans sucks. I should kill everyone." Hello?
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with flies.
Is this thing on? Now, here's what's disgusting, obviously, is because the media has affirmed this, for lack of a better word, has pushed this nonsense, has said that there's nothing wrong with changing your gender, that gender's just a social construct. Like, there's no such thing as gender. And anyone who actually says that the binary is real and that science is real, they should be, dispatched with. Anyone that tells me that I can't do what I want to do and I cannot change my gender, they need to be dealt with swiftly. But the irony was, in this case, is, again, the mother allowed this to happen. The mother, Jennifer Strang, the mother, and I'm reading from Andy No again, the mother of the Canadian trans mass shooter in Tumbler Ridge had been conservative, but she changed her views after her son transitioned years ago, again, since he was 12. She shared anti-Trump posts and was critical of people who didn't support transitioning children. I'll go back. What kind of propaganda are these kids seeing? I guess you're going to have to kill people who don't agree with what I'm doing. Anyway, I'll continue. Strang was brutally murdered along with her 11-year-old child, I think a brother, as I mentioned, by her son, Jesse Van Root-Salar. The trans gunman killed 9 people in total, mostly children, before killing himself inside a nearby school. So he just, put that cherry on the sundae. He's like, let me go to another school and commit suicide. The gun or the guns the gunman used may have belonged to his mother. Canadian media is referring to the gunman as a woman and is using she, her pronouns. So this cognitive dissonance that the media cannot grasp, because, again, they're the ones who created this. They're the ones who created it. They're the ones who celebrated it. They're the ones who told normal people we were all bigots and crazy for not thinking we could medically alter our DNA and change our sex from whatever to whatever. Like, we're the crazy ones. And because the media has decided to tell us that we're the crazy ones, they're going to continue to cover for this shit. Because they did it. They created it, they affirmed it, and they're allowing it to continue. So by calling the this biological male who'd been transitioned from the age of 12 a she, her, allows the media to not have the cognitive dissonance that would cause a normal person to go, holy shit, everything I've been pushing has caused these things to happen. They don't want to acknowledge that, like, the past 6 of 7 mass shootings have been done by trans people, okay? They don't want to talk about the first transgender shooter, Audrey Hale, and what the hell was in that notebook of hers, which was all this propaganda and nonsense that she had been fed by groups online and by her teachers and by whoever else, okay? They created this, and they are now reaping what they have sown. Let me scratch that. They created this, and now we are reaping what they have sown. Okay, but and let me continue on with some more propaganda that they're seeing. This is something that is all over the place, evidently, online, and they're in their chat rooms. Stop being a nice queer. Take off the kid gloves. They want you dead, and you're worried about your incorrect your, by the way. Again, our education system is failing our children on so many levels. You're worried about being polite. Start acting like your life is on the line, because it is. And then the meme says, every day is Trans Day of Vengeance, and it's a man with nails, women's fingernails, holding a knife. And then I'll continue. Yes, the threat of stabbing to death people who don't support transitioning children is a popular slogan, like belief among radical trans activists. So here's Peggy Flanagan, or as she's now known, Southside Flan, in the little Signal chat group that she spearheaded up in Minnesota, which basically riled everybody up and caused them to attack ICE agents, and then 2 people got killed because of it. That Peggy Flanagan? Well, before she was, standing with the Somalis and wearing a hijab and basically looking the other way on billions and billions of dollars of fraud, she was out there repping for the trans kids. And in this picture here, she has a shirt that says "Protect Trans Kids," as you've seen this thing going around, and there's a knife in the on the shirt. So I wonder how these people become radicalized. Here's a picture of the people that were killed by this Jesse psychopath. It's truly horrific. Here's another something that is seen at a recent trans rally in London. Armed trans kids. They're all, it's all over the place. And as I was saying, the demographics they don't lie, okay? Mass shooting, this is from End Wokeness. A trans person is 4 to 10% more likely to do a mass casualty attack. Mass shooting rates by demographic. Trans non-binary, 6.71%. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading this incorrectly. This is the percentage of trans non-binary who might commit a mass shooting or a mass casualty event. 0.71%. Asian, 0.25. Black, 0.099. White, and here's where facts get in the way of these people's propaganda, because what do they tell us? Oh, it's just a bunch of white kids who are mass shooters. Not so. Not according to the data. White, 0.088. Hispanic, 0.047. Native American, 0.0000. So those Native Americans are clearly not getting the kind of propaganda as the poor children being held captive in our public schools and being held captive online by radical left Marxists, transgenders, transhumanist groups. Okay, it's not good. It's not good. But I do want to leave this video with a little bit of a palate cleanser, if you will. June gonna be lit, y'all, and well, I should say, I hope June is not too lit, because in the last couple of years, retailers and big box stores have gotten a clue, and they've decided to not try and shove their gay pride propaganda down our throats. To which the normal American is like, thank you. Like, I don't want to go into Target and be bombarded with rainbows and transgendering children paraphernalia. Like, no. Like, I don't want pro, I don't want con, okay? I want none. How about just do none of it, okay? In the last couple of years, the retailers have gotten a clue. But I am concerned this year, you guys, with the uptick in transgender violence, that they're going to hijack Pride Month like you've never seen. And they're going to be out there doing more than the most. But I will tell you this, and I imagine there's going to be a huge protest because of this. Disney World had a thing called Gay Days. Gross. The happiest place on earth for children, and they call conservatives crazy for thinking that these people are grooming kids. What are you talking about? Anyway, Disney World, Disneyland had these things called Gay Days, but it's been paused for 2026 because no sponsors want to support this. So one win for normalcy in a sea full of crazies. Okay, you guys, we'll be right back. Okay, you guys, you know how much I love Angel Lift. Angel Lift is this genius little thing that you put in your mouth, these little plastic silicone bands, and you put them in your mouth, and it plumps out your lips, and it makes you truly turn back the clock, okay? Because as you get older, you're going to notice, if you're not there yet, you'll notice soon, your mouth is going to start puckering up like it looks like you've been smoking on Marlboro Reds your whole life, okay? And as someone who drinks out of a straw and has my entire existence, basically, I've got that problem. And when I found Angel Lift, I don't know how I came across them, but I found them and I've been using them religiously for years. And I sleep in them and they're going to say, don't do that. Please don't do that. But I do. Whatever. So when you go to angellift.com and use the code Angela Bach Show, you're going to get 10% off. Trust me when I tell you, especially ladies, okay? It's not a cute look to have a wrinkle mouth, okay? Get you some Angel Lift and stave off the visit to the filler lady, okay? Because you can get the same look as filler without having to get filler and for a lot less money. But trust me, get the professional grade ones because those are the best ones. angellift.com/Angela Bach Show. You guys, it's Valentine's Day, as I used to call it VD Day, for fun. And Fred and I aren't doing anything because Fred is sick and he needs to get his rest. So I'm gonna make dinner for us. It's our first married Valentine's Day, and so I'm wearing an appropriately colored shirt. And I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day. If you don't have someone, don't worry. They are out there. Just be patient. Work on yourself. Become the best version of yourself you can be, and then watch what God will do. That's just, coming from someone who that happened to. But, it is Valentine's Day, and I used to call it Happy VD Day. And I got this really funny text today from an old childhood friend who's my sister. Like, my sister is one of her dearest friends, but we all knew each other. So Becky sent over this hilarious card, and it said, and this is going to have something to do with our topics today. Okay. Peggy had many Valentine's cards, while Viola only had one. Peggy is a whore. Yes, that slut that running those mean streets, that Peggy. And it got to me to thinking about some political whores. They may not be the whores in the traditional sense, but boy, oh boy, are they political whores. And of course, I'm speaking of Representative Ratchet, AOC, and Dora, aka Lena Hidalgo here in Houston. Now, let's first talk about, we'll talk about Representative Ratchet first because, this effort, y'all, she's running for Senate. She's running for Senate in Texas. I am so excited about this. Like, we could basically run a ham sandwich and they would beat Jasmine Crockett, who is right now the leader in the Democratic primary, which is chef's kiss all day. Makes me very happy. But here's some memes that have that came up the other day. And of course, people are all in a tizzy about this. It's AOC and it's Representative Ratchet, and they are in front of the Quality Leering Center in Minnesota. Just doing the most for their constituents, even though they're like, we love the Leering Center. And then remember this hilarious, it's not a meme, but this is what the Democrats are like pushing, which I am so here for. President AOC and Vice President Jasmine Crockett. I mean, yes. Like, I can't even explain to you how much I hope AOC somehow miraculously becomes the Democrat nominee. Like, I can't even. Like, it would make me so happy. But okay, let's get to what Representative Ratchet has done. Oh, let me start with AOC here. Let me start with AOC. We're going to start with AOC, and I have two clips to show you. So AOC is, she's over like in Germany or Munich or something like that because she's playing pretend that she's going to be president of the United States, which is why Patrick Bateman, aka Gavin Newsom, was over there too. Like, why is this her over in Munich? Oh, because she's going to run for president. Durr. Anyway, she's sitting there in this interview talking about Gaza. Okay, of course she is. Talking about Gaza and, the poor put upon Muslims and the poor put upon Palestinians. And, they can't help it that their IQs are 70. There's just tons of inbreeding, but whatever. The poor Gazans. Okay. So someone was asking her about this. And then she said that, we as the United States, we really need to enforce our laws. Like, whatever laws she thinks in her mind should be helping the inbreeding of the Gazan citizens, like whatever, those laws. But everyone's like, so you can want those laws to be enforced, but not our immigration laws? Like, heifer, have all the seats. And then a couple days before that, she showed that ass good, y'all. Roll the clip of AOC telling us about how we need to enforce our laws.
This isn't just about a presidential election. Personally, I think that the United States has an obligation to uphold its own laws, particularly the leahy laws. And I think that personally, that the idea of completely unconditional aid, no matter what one does not make sense. I think it enabled a genocide in Gaza, and I think that we have thousands of women and children dead that was completely avoidable. And so I believe that enforcement of our own laws through the leahy laws, which requires conditioning aid in any circumstance when you see gross human rights violations, is appropriate.
Have her have all the seats. Have all the seats, okay? But a couple days ago, former AOC was like, hold my beer, because she's at the same conference where, again, she's running for president, duh. So, you know, she's got to go do these, she has to do these big girl things, these big girl politician things. So someone asked her, should we be defending Taiwan? Listen to this heifer show her ass. Showed her ass, I tell you. Roll that clip.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
You know, I think that this is such a, you know, I think that this is of course a very long-standing policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Oh, we can only pray. We can only hope and pray that AOC is at the top of that ticket, but at the very least on the ticket. Like, please God, today. Okay, now let's talk about Representative Ratchet. Representative Ratchet, I got two clips to show you here, is really a special breed. This chick thinks that, I mean, she's high on her own supply 24/7. And her supply is, of course, a camera. If there's a camera around, Representative Ratchet is like making love to it, okay?
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Mustard on a beat, bro, deep boat, any rap, he a freak though, man down, call like Amber Lambs, tell him breathe, let them boys to the cross, they walk around like tees, what's up with these?
And having her way with it, inappropriately. And this week, Representative Ratchet got caught, like, she tried to get all big and bad with Pam Bondi, and look, I'm not even going to do a Pam Bondi video because I have mixed opinions about the whole thing, and there's a million other videos about that, but Pam Bondi was testifying, and Representative Ratchet decided to use her time to scream about all, look at all the victims here. Why aren't you prosecuting any of these rapists? And again, it's like, heifer. You literally said nothing for 8 years when Obama didn't do shit. You didn't say anything about this for 4 years when Biden didn't do shit. Like, have all the seats, okay? So Pam Bondi is like basically calling her out, being like, hey, here's someone who took money from Jeffrey Epstein. It was your boo, Team Moo Obama, Hakeem Jeffries. And what does dumb heifer do? She decides, I'm going to take my dollies and go home, because that's what a grown-up does. Roll that clip.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted. You know, so what we talking about? Convict Texas, some of these perpetrators homicide. That rape these women that are sitting behind you, that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds back to make up for the yelling? Thank you. General.
But as high on her own supply as she is, she thinks that was like a power move, y'all. She thinks she's like, world, watch out. And Texas, come vote for me because I'm completely rational and I share your values and, you know, all the things.
We had a good, long, productive meeting today, and we have collectively and unanimously decided that Jasmine Crockett makes AOC seem like Stephen Hawking.
I want wide open borders. I want Democrats not to be looked at in the Epstein files. I want us to go back to Biden era inflation and economy and whatever. She's and this is the crazy thing, y'all. This woman is a lawyer, okay? This woman has a law degree, which I would like to see her I don't know, her law school thesis or whatever you have to do to get out of law school. I would like to see this thesis, and I would like to see her grades, and I would like to know what kind of a law school was it, and was she a DEI attendee? One would think. So Representative Ratchet decides that she's going to go on some podcasts. She's going on all kinds of podcasts, and it's so stupid. Like, if she were smart, she'd go on my show, okay? Because we could actually have an interesting conversation. And if you want to get your views out to everyday Texans, you need to start going on some opposition shows. Because if you win the Democrat nomination, which again, she's on track to win it, which, yes! Again, we could run a ham sandwich and we could beat her. But she's on track to win. So what she needs to be doing is trying to convince, Texans like me that I should be actually considering putting this again, I call her Representative Ratchet for a reason. Put this ratchet hoe into the Senate. Like, you got to convince me, heifer, okay? So she goes on this one podcast. She's preaching to the choir. And in the podcast, she basically says, if I don't continue on in the pace I've continued on, like, I'm on no sleep, y'all. I'm super important. I'm super serial. I still have to do a full-time job, which is like, anally rape any camera I see and storm out of congressional meetings. I have that job to do. And then I also have the job of trying to convince Texans that I'm not a complete ghetto hoe, okay? So I've been very, very super busy. So Representative Ratchet in this clip basically said, if I sleep, democracy is going to die, you guys. Roll that clip.
I also want to show up when I can, but I still have a full-time job that I was elected to do, and I am still showing up every single day at work while also trying to make sure that Texans know that I am serious about earning their support. So I am team no sleep right now. But you know what? Democracy can't wait. Yeah. And if I go to sleep, democracy may very well die.
I mean, y'all, I do love these people high on their own supply. It is really remarkable because they have been told by the media how great they are. They've been told that they're the second coming. Like, they might as well just, kick JD Vance out of that vice presidential house right now. And put this lady in because, she's gonna win. She's gonna win in the Senate, and she's gonna then be on the ticket. Like, please continue to believe these things. Now, finally, here's a bit of Schadenfreude. So much delicious Schadenfreude in this story, you guys. I can't even tell you. So let me set this up. Y'all remember Lena Hidalgo, right? Those of us in Houston have been saddled with this worthless gas bag, just loser for like the last 6 years, okay? Or the last 7 years. She is the Harris County judge, okay? Now, the judge is not a real judge. It's not a real lawyer. You don't have to be a lawyer. It's just this name they give it, and it's basically like she runs the commission's court. Like, Harris County judge, like, oversees the commission's court, okay? The commission's court sits there and, yaps about funding for this and left-wing that and whatever. The city council, or the commissioner's court and the city council, have a minority Republican situation. So it's all Democrats. And they basically, in 2018, when Beto O'Rourke was running against Ted Cruz, we had this, we had a ballot that was, it was a straight ticket voting. So we had straight ticket voting until 2018 because all the Democrats were going in and it's straight ticket voting for Democrats, and then every single Democrat would get hit. Well, this is how Lena Hidalgo became Harris County judge because there was a guy named Ed Emmett in there for like forever and a day. And I guarantee you, she woke up the day after the election day and she's like, I effing won. Anyway, Lena Hidalgo has been a burr on our side ever since. But the Democrat Party saw this as like a real thing that happened and that she was going to be like a huge Democrat star. Like this chick got New York Times articles written about her. I think Vanity Fair did an article. Like they were licking her, you know what? They were licking her taint. Pardon my French. They were licking her nethers, okay? They were licking her nethers, basically telling her, you're the next big thing. And she's involved in all kinds of scandal, like involving COVID money distribution. And like she became real wealthy while she's sitting there in Harris County judge. Well, you guys, this time around, she's not even running for re-election. When she realized that this former mayor, this lesbian icon, Anise Parker, decided to run against her in the Democrat nomination or Democrat Party nomination, she decided she was going to quit. She was going to take her dollies and go home. But y'all, it was quite the womp, 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 quite the end to Lena Hidalgo's political career. Again, a completely worthless, uninspiring, whining crybaby. She took like 5 months of mental health time. I mean, she's the worst, okay? And, really big shenanigans that went on in the last election that suppressed Republican votes.
Bring it on!
The election for Harris County Judge last fall made national headlines. The incumbent was certainly Hollywood's favorite, but under attack here for being soft on crime and way too liberal.
You're not going to get as many bad candidates as Lena Hidalgo.
It was an election marred by broken voting machines, long lines, and a curious shortage of ballots.
The last two major elections in Harris County have been hindered by a laundry list of blunders.
And Alex Mueller, she's now challenging the results.
This is my home. This is something worth fighting for. But what I can't sit back and watch is this extremely progressive, hyper-crony partisan machine that is now operating in our county.
Mueller was a bomb squad tech, works in energy finance, a self-described soccer mom. A good resume when you first run for political office.
Crime is out of control in Harris County, and I can fix it.
It's a whole thing. But this is what I wanted to bring up because it really just shows you the level of child we're dealing with, okay? And everyone calls her Dora because she's got this curly hair, and for the longest time, she wore it in the Dora the Explorer style. It's like, honey, your hair's too curly for that. You need to grow it out. Anyway, this was last week. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo walks out of Commissioner's Court over doorway dispute. Quote, I don't need my office wall torn down by the office that continues to bully me. And y'all, this is the beautiful part. So Dora she's having a fit because she's got one more year in office, essentially. She's got 8 more months in office, 10 months, 9.5 months, whatever. She's got until January of next year to be in office. And what they want to do is they're trying to make a doorway that can connect offices. Because I guess one office is something with the fire code or something like that. So they're tearing down the wall and they're going to put in a door. Well, Lena Hidalgo is not having it. And she's basically saying that her bully is a fellow Democrat by the name of Leslie Briones. And Leslie Briones, you guys, big time progressive, funded in large part by Arabella Industries or whatever that George Soros stepchild is, okay? Leslie Briones is a lunatic, okay? But evidently, these two ladies hate each other, which is delicious to watch the feud. I don't care what their beef is about. I'm just happy they're beefing because they both suck. And so Lena Hidalgo's like, how dare you knock down the wall and put in a door so I can be next to my bully. It's like, ugh. It's just too delicious. It's just too delicious. I always love it I always love it when Democrats eat their own. It is a meal that I never get sick of ingesting, okay? And they are eating their own left, right, and center, at least in Harris County. So we can all celebrate that at least. All right, that is where I'm going to leave today's video. Please let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. And remember to keep kicking ass and taking names, and to always let thy will be done. Peace.